Hello, everyone, and welcome to another chapter of Jack Jameson, written by Ryland Mason, narrated by me, Brian Shepard. Chapter 4. After the meeting with Charles, Chris and I were off to the hotel that his father's booked for us before we made our flight down to Eduardo Gomes International Airport, which was located in Manaus, Brazil. After catching a cab, Christopher and I reached the Marriott, which was located a couple of blocks away from the museum. The Marriott was a beautiful hotel with friendly staff, and, if on the right floor, you would have a perfect view of the pyramids. Christopher went ahead and checked in at the front desk and came back, all smiles, as we headed towards the elevator. We were on the second floor, but when we reached the room, there was only one bed. One bed? What is this all about? How is this going to work out? There's no way I'm sleeping in the same bed with Chris. One bed, I said, as I looked around the room. Most of the time in these rooms, there's usually a pull-out sofa. I don't think that this room had a pull-out sofa. Christopher just looked at me. Jack, I'm sure that both of us can fit in the bed. It's a king-size bed. And as long as we put pillows in the middle, I'm sure you can stay on your own side. I'll even give you your favorite side. If I remember correctly, you sleep on the left, he said as he opened up his suitcase and headed for the bathroom. No doubt to take a shower. I'm surprised he remembered that I slept on the left. Of all things to remember. As I was waiting for Christopher to finish up in the shower, I went over the notes that Charles gave us. Most of the diary just talked about her daily life and what she did during the day, while her now husband ruled and was busy for most of the day, only to really visit her in her rooms at night. The king wanted a son. Lorena also talked about her wedding day and how beautiful it was and how everyone was in awe of her beauty. The reason being, she was the only one in the kingdom with long red hair and skin that matched the goat's milk, as one of the locals had described her. She also mentioned how she really wanted her brother to have been there. In fact, no one from her family was there. The trip was just too long, and her father would not bring John on such a journey. I was dying to get more information when we landed in Brazil, as the contact there was also translating old documents found by other explorers trying to find the lost city of the Yamo people. This guy might just have the info we need to find it and hope that that crown would still be with her, buried somewheres in the city, which again was lost and not found as of yet. The goal was to try to find it before him. Cassius St. James, that is. Who is Cassius St. James, you ask? Well, he is a no-good, lying, backstabbing mentor, credit stealer, a real piece of... The last word escaped me out loud as Chris walked out of the bathroom with nothing but a towel. This had him just looking at me confused, to just turning his side lamp off and climbing into bed. Boxer briefs. Okay, not naked. Nothing to worry about. Now it was my turn to shower and to rest before our flight. I needed sleep. All this thinking and reading had tired me out. I'm surprised I didn't have a migraine from all of it. As soon as I finished, I noticed the wall of pillows that were lined up to split the bed. God forbid one of us crossed the line. However, he would end up taking the whole bed anyway. It's what he did. And that he was a blanket thief. I remember things too. The next morning, I awoke to an arm and a leg over me. I opened my eyes, and as I told you, he took over the bed, and I was 2 inches away from falling off. Cold, mind you, as he stole the blankets, and I had no protection from the AC that he just had to have on. Okay, time to get up and get ready, as I was not about to miss the free breakfast bar downstairs. I'm hungry. Slowly, I moved the arm and lifted his leg off of mine, and in doing so, I woke him up. eyes just staring at me, almost shocked to see he was so close to me. Good morning. As much as I would love to just lay here forever, I'm hungry and in need of some free food they have downstairs. I moved off the bed towards my suitcase and grabbed a fresh outfit. I was not waiting for Sleeping Beauty to take his time getting ready. He nodded and yawned as I made my way out the door in search of some waffles. After Chris finally joined me, we were ready to make our way back to the airport and be on our way. Like I said, Cairo International was always busy, no matter the time of day. Finally, making it on the plane, waiting to get into my seat as passengers were storing carry-on in the overhead storage compartments, we finally made it to our seats when I noticed an older woman, American by the looks of it, just smiling at me as I sat in the seat, followed by Chris, which there was no way I would take an aisle seat. Window or middle for me. I do not need the stewards bumping into me as they pass by with the snack cart. As we waited for takeoff, the woman was still smiling, saying nothing. Okay, what gives? I don't know her. Maybe she liked my outfit or was nervous. She was not quiet when we took off into the sky. You know, I met Josh Gates with my husband one year when he was doing a show in Florida. Oh, what a sweet man he was. What you see on TV, he's just the same in person. Oh, to be that young and to have been on all those adventures. The thrill alone would keep me going, she said as she looked over at me, most likely figuring out I was too much into adventures as well. Oh, that must have been something else to meet him in person, I said as I looked away, hopefully signaling that I was not interested in talking. So I turned to start talking with Chris, who was already sleeping. Great. I'm Anita Cromwell, she said with a big smile of hers, which, as soon as I heard the name, my head snapped right back to her. Why do I know that name? As soon as I said the name in my head, the conversation between me and Eric came back. Oh, I know who you are. She must have seen the look on my face and realized I had made the connection, because then she spoke again, which had me at full attention. You must be Jack Jameson, the archaeologist who is friends with my dear friend Captain Moore. I only know because he would talk about you during my many cruises. A Josh Gates look-alike, and you fit the bill, she said as she noticed Chris was fast asleep. Oh boy, I have heard many stories about this old broad, and now she was sitting next to me. What are the odds? That would be me, and I have also heard of you, Miss Cromwell. It is a pleasure to finally meet you. Eric has told me so much about you, I said, remembering most of which were about her crazy complaints and how in the beginning she would drive Eric bonkers. May I ask what is bringing you all the way down to Brazil? That seems a very far destination for someone like you. Are you visiting someone or taking in the sights? I asked, as from what I heard, Anita only did cruises. She turned and smiled and began to tell me what she was up to. Hey, I might as well keep myself entertained for a while, and if that meant talking to her, so be it. Well, considering Eric's ship was a little beat up after that last cruise, no thanks to that evil dirty bird, Divine, I think Eric said his name was. I'm going to catch a ship at the port in Lima. My grandson lives in Manos, so I figured I'd bother him for a day before catching my ride back to the Caribbean. As a matter of fact, Eric and Justin should be on that ship. Now that their Ireland trip is over, I hope to run into them. My contact at Majestic Cruises said he had a stateroom on the ship. she said as she sat back in the seat, looking out the window. By this time, Christopher had woken up, needing the bathroom, and when he returned to sit back down, that's when Anita suggested he switch seats and sit next to her. Interesting. I took that opportunity to use the restroom myself and maybe get some shut-eye before we landed. There was no sleeping. It sounded like two kids giggling and chatting away as if I wasn't there. I would hear my name being mentioned, which, why Chris was talking about me, I have no clue. I really did not want to listen. I wanted sleep. I was awoken by the seatbelt sign coming on as we made our approach to the runway. Chris and Anita were still talking away. She ended the conversation by grabbing his hand and telling Chris to learn patience and understanding, which had Chris turning and looking at me. Okay, what was that all about? Oh no, she's up to her old matchmaking guru stuff. Well, I'll have to put a kibosh to that later. Right now I needed to stay focused and find our contact, get the info we needed, and find that damn crown. Arriving inside the terminal, we proceeded to say our goodbyes to Anita and Chris. Hoped to see her again. Her response was, "Of course, dear, we will." And that had me nervous. Was she going to pop up in the Amazon somewhere? God, I hope not. We made it finally through the sea of people to the pickup area, where we were supposed to meet our contact who would bring us to the local hotel. There, we would go over everything and come up with some sort of plan to brave the Amazon and find it. Only to realize that that might be a problem, as there was a major problem standing in front of us, holding a sign with our names with a nasty grin on his face. Cassius. Well now, Jack, you are looking well. Good to see you haven't changed much. Still idolizing Josh, I see. Here I thought I made an impression on you. Guess not. Oh, and this must be Christopher. It's nice to put a face to the voice, he said, taking Chris's hand to shake. Wait. He knew he would be here. I was starting to see red as I could see Chris looking at me like I just got punched in the gut. He's our contact? You contacted him and didn't tell me? What else are you hiding from me, Chris? Never mind, we'll talk later, I said as I got into the back of the car. Funny enough, Chris sat in the front seat this time. Whatever. Don't fret, Jack. I contacted him. I'm sure we can work together. We are, after all, looking for the same thing, and I would hate to see it in someone else's greedy hands, he said, looking at me in the rearview mirror with that nasty grin again. Well, what a turn of events. I have a feeling that this is not going to be very dull moving forward. Thanks so much, guys.